When you think of Tenya Iida, what is the first thing to come to mind? Probably that he's a side character in the manga of My Hero Academia, which is a shonen, or other times that he sticks to the rules too much. All those are very accurate things, but what if that wasn't the case? What if we rewrote his character to be more than that? What if we rewrote him to fit a seinen manga instead? And today, that is just what I'm going to be doing. And of course, those of you who have watched my MHA into a seinen rewrite, this video directly correlates to that one. And those who haven't seen it, there'll be a card on screen right now taking you over there to it. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. And for Iida, I took heavy inspiration from the manga Real, and since Iida is from a wealthy hero family, I'll be exploring that path and expanding things. Iida would have a really good life growing up, having his brother as his role model. Iida would subconsciously idolize his brother, making it seem like he was so far out of his reach. Growing up, Iida would have a romantic interest in middle school that would grow into being a serious relationship in high school, as the two would be lovers. However, one day Iida and his girlfriend would be walking outside the park. Iida would say that he could just run across the road. His girlfriend would be hesitant, but trust Iida, saying sure. However, while running across the road, Iida would see a car about to hit them, as his girlfriend would push him, causing him to roll forward as she'd be hit by the car instead. She'd be critically injured and taken to the hospital where they'd save her life. However, she'd never be able to walk again. The girl's family would blame Iida as well as Iida blaming himself. This is where Tensei would walk with Iida, saying that both of them are to blame. Iida would desperately try to balance tending to his girlfriend, helping her recover, and studying for UA. I'd have it get to the point where he barely sleeps and keeps himself going with adrenaline shots and caffeine pills, that he would get addicted to more and more. Iida would see himself as the furthest thing from a hero, being disgusted with himself, adding a huge layer of self-hatred and needing acceptance and praise just to be able to live with himself. I'd have his mother find out and would actually support her son's addiction instead of sending him to therapy, all to not tarnish the family name. Iida would constantly get praise from his mother, which would sustain him and make him easier to be manipulated by his mother, which would happen. For his training, he'd have access to a state-of-the-art gym where he'd work his body to the limit every single night while fighting off the image of his girlfriend being hit. His overall look would be very more muscular than in canon, but he'd also be very cut, so there'd be very little fat on him. During the 1 year of training, I would feel as though Iida and his brother would have a rift between them, while Tensei would see Iida going down a dark road out of pure guilt and self-hatred. However, all attempts to help Iida would be stopped by their mother. Iida's father would have a hands-off approach, as he couldn't expect anything from Iida anymore, and had completely written him off. The only time where the brothers had time alone together would be in the gym, where they'd argue a bit before Iida would apologize. Tensei would use their gym time to help Iida get clean. The entrance exam for Iida would go very differently, as he wouldn't be acting high and mighty anymore. Instead, he'd be more detached than anything. However, before going through the physical portion of the test, he'd go to the bathroom and shoot up with adrenaline, giving himself a huge boost in energy and aggression. Once the gate was open, Iida would blitz in, smiling for the first time in a while, smashing through the robots. However, once the zero-pointer shows up, he'd run away, the same as in canon, until he hears the scream of a girl in need of help. This would cause him to freeze, as all he could see is the car hitting his girlfriend, the pain on her face, and everything else that follows, but snaps out of it as he sees a green light flash by him. Seeing this guy sprint forward and take out the zero-pointer, saving the girl. As the boy would walk away, Iida would ask for his name, learning that he was called Izuku Midoriya. Iida would be amazed with this guy. However, he'd feel a sense of shame wash over him as well, asking himself why he wasn't like Midoriya. Why'd he freeze like that when someone was in danger? Iida would go to visit his girlfriend in the hospital. Walking in on her during physical therapy, having lunch in his hands, his girlfriend would smile brightly at him, while the parents would scowl at him. She'd have lunch with Iida alone. The two would finally be able to talk after the accident, since her parents would always push Iida away. She'd learn how much Iida was doing, his addiction to adrenaline, him trying to get clean, along with how he froze up when someone needed help. Instead of blaming Iida further, his girlfriend would tell him that she wasn't going to blame her situation on him at all. and that she's been working really hard to get back to having as much of a normal life as she can have. Telling Iida that she wants him to visit her as much as he can, saying that they'd work hard together. This would cause Iida to break down crying. He'd at long last have some of the guilt he had inside him ease up a little. Iida would get up, saying that he's going to work out. His girlfriend, smiling, says good, he'll get running. From here, the entire few weeks of waiting for the results, Iida would spend the time getting clean with help from his girlfriend and brother.
And that's all. Thank you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.